Welcome to today's episode of the Medical Device Marketing Podcast. So today we've got a really interesting topic to discuss: how to boost your sales force effectiveness using video. And this is something we talk about all the time at Podymos because video is probably the most underutilized thing in optimizing a sales process. So today we have Oscar and Jenna. Welcome, Oscar and Jenna.
Hi.
Hello. Fantastic. So this is really about revolutionizing how you sell and how you do these different things. So we're going to talk about a myriad of different ways, and we're going to put it in stages really. So how can you engage more leads through video initially? How can you optimize your sales process with it? And also how can you supercharge your closing rate? So if we look at the initial section, Jenna, so how can people introduce video or use video in their sales process really early on to increase leads, bring more leads in?
Yeah, so we know that 80% of the buyer's decision is made before they even enter into your sales process, before they even get in contact with your sales team.
Just to qualify that, we do know that was a study by Forrester, and it's higher in some industries and lower in others. So it could be like 50% in medical device, it could be 60 or 70%. But the point is, it's not going down and it's only going up. So we know that a big portion of the buyer's decision is happening before anybody even gets in contact with you.
Yeah, so, and if you don't have that information that is part of that 80% research, you could potentially be missing out on a lot of business because, you don't have that content there for the people to feel they've made their decision to get in contact with you. So we also know that 80% of online traffic is propelled by video. And at the moment, only about 5% of traffic on the average website is video.
Which is crazy.
Is that
crazy? Because that means you're missing out on, quick maths, 75%.
Yes.
I know, I'm proud. Yeah, 75% of potential traffic you are missing because you don't have enough video on your website.
Yes.
There's other things as well, but yeah.
Yeah, so you're missing out on that 75% of traffic, where that traffic that is looking for the answer to 80% of their questions in order to get in contact. When you introduce video and you start answering those questions, what's going to happen then is that, people feel more confident getting in contact with you, but you're also, driving more traffic on your website because you have the video that people prefer to consume. I think it's most people's chosen format to consume content because you can actually glean the information in video 60,000 times faster than written text. You can understand it that much quicker. And I think that's massively important, that if you are not providing that content, what's going to happen?
But that's the question. What is going to happen? So if you're not delivering, so if you know that your audience is making 50, 60, 70, 80% of their buyer's decision, whatever that looks like, online before they even get in contact with you, and 85% or 80 to 85% of traffic is video based, what are they doing if you're not giving that information? Like, what are they doing?
They're going to your competitors.
Yeah. So why wouldn't you have that information on your website? So yeah, video is a huge thing when it comes to educating your audience before they actually even get in contact with you up front.
Yeah, so that's the first benefit, I guess, of introducing video, is that you will drive more leads into your sales cycle because you have that content that people are looking for.
And so people might be saying, yeah, but Jenna, I've got loads of videos on my website at the moment. I mean, maybe not enough, but I've got videos. What type of videos should people actually be doing? What are the questions that people are asking? I suppose if we think now, so I'm going to go and buy something, and what are the things, what do we know are the things, and actually anybody who's listening to this podcast, think about this as well. What are the things that you go and look for when you're researching? So Oscar, if I ask you, when you're looking at something to buy something, what are the things you think about? What are the things you need to know before you're ready to make that decision?
Yeah, do I ethically gel with that company? Do I get on board with what they're about as a whole? Do I believe in what they're doing? Can their products solve my problem? Can it be, are there any T's and C's I need to be aware about? There's lots of things. There's huge amounts of information I need before I'm ready to make a purchasing decision.
Yeah, there's lots of things. Jenna, what would you say? Would you add anything to that?
Price. Yeah. I think, possibly controversial in medical device, but I want to know.
A range?
Yeah.
Do you want to know a range?
I don't want to know what affects that price.
Yeah.
I want to know what else is out there.
Yeah.
I want to know what other people think of it, because if other people aren't impressed and they think they've wasted their money. I don't want to invest in that.
Yeah.
All those sorts of things, those big fire questions.
It's interesting, isn't it? So it's like people, but also people are going online to look at this information because it's a safe place to do it. So you're not being sold to. That's the idea. So if you have really unbiased content in video form, people can digest it really quickly. But actually, the other thing we've spoken about video before is that they can meet you before they meet you. So they can understand. And Oscar, you just said, it's important to like gel with the company, know you agree with who they are. Video is an amazing way to do that because, you can actually see the people behind the company and say, yeah, these people are aligned with my values. So you communicate so much more across by using video than you would necessarily with anything else. Okay, so the next thing, so we've managed to engage people, we've answered their questions online. We've taken inertia out of the buying process because you've answered all their questions. They know, yes, you definitely have the product that I want. Other people really like it. I understand all the problems with it, et cetera, and this is definitely within my price range. I'm looking to move forward. So how can we use video to really optimize that process as well when you start engaging with your potential customers?
Yeah, so a way I would always recommend using video is incorporating it as a free meeting invitation. So remove a text-based email from your sales funnel and just replace that with a short 30-second introduction video from yourself. Make it really personal, customize it to that person. And if you've got your tech stack set up in a correct way, you can have huge amounts of information about your customer from what they've looked at on your website, what they're interested in. You can incorporate this into a really, really personal video that's going to, they always say people buy from people, right? Yeah. So this is such an easy, simple way to introduce yourself, build that rapport, build some kind of relationship before you've even met someone. I think, it's very, very rare that a deal, especially at the kind of scale that deals are made in medical devices, that they'll get done without meeting someone. So you're going to have to meet this person at some point. Why not just shorten that timeline down and meet them super early on? Everyone's going to be doing this in the next couple of years, so just get ahead of it. A lot of people are already doing it, but not enough people in medical device.
It's crazy, actually. I don't think that many people are. So I think if you're looking for a real big way to stand out in sales, digital sales moving forwards, including video, one-to-one video in your emails is a huge way because we just don't bump into companies who are doing it. Everybody's always really surprised when we start talking about one-to-one video. Yeah, so I think you're right. I think it's going to be really big, but it's a great opportunity now because people just aren't doing it. And you can meet somebody before you meet somebody, which is just great. It takes all that nervousness away. I think a company that do this phenomenally well. Actually, car salespeople do it really well now. So if you go to like car manufacturers, I should probably say. So if you go to like Tesla, they have everything automated online. So like you've already understood so much about the car, about who you're going to meet, things before you ever meet them. And I've seen this done with, other car manufacturers as well, but they actually send you a video walking around the car and things like that. So, making it really, really personal. So there's so much growth in this area, but I agree, it's not done that much at the moment in MedTech, but it's such an opportunity, which is really exciting. Fantastic. Okay, so we've met somebody, we've sent a video, had our first meeting. Are there any other ways we can use video to qualify leads? So because do you know what? Our technology might not be the right technology for every audience. And actually, the faster we can identify those people, the better we're spending, or the better quality time we're spending with the right people. So the better fit clients we have. How can we do that, Jenna? How can we...
Yeah, so we talked about making sure you answer their questions in the beginning. But there's a little tool we like to recommend, the 80% video. So you can either have this on your website, on your YouTube channel, you can put it out on socials, but you can also send it out before you meet that person and ask them to watch it before they enter into a conversation with you, because in this 80% video, you will answer, the top questions that you get asked, so that when it comes into the actual sales call, you don't have to answer those questions again. The questions, like the 80% of questions that you hear all the time, should be covered in this video, so that you go into the sales call and they already know all those answers. You can get into the good stuff. But also in that video, if they don't like anything they hear, or it's not right for them, they're not going to continue, and then you're not going to waste your time ultimately.
Yeah. But also just think about the amount, because this like blew our minds when we started doing all this about a year and a half ago. How much time do you spend, if you think about the number of times you say the same answer to a question over and over and over again, how much time does that take a salesperson in a year? And if you can say, right, I'm going to take all those questions away, and therefore I'm potentially going to reduce your sales process down from, like theoretically here, 6 calls to 4 calls, what is the impact of that on your overall efficiency and revenue? You can see so many more good fit clients in a shorter time frame. It makes so much sense to do it.
Yeah, and I think on the other side of things as well, it's the client or your potential customers want that information. I recently, not going to name any names here, but I started in a sales process with a company, and I knew I was going to have a sales call, and I wanted that information because I didn't want to be that person who goes in and asks the same questions that you hear time and time again. I wanted to get into the actual stuff that I couldn't find, and I couldn't find that information, and therefore I went into the call and I was like, we're going to have to do what you always have to do, where, it would have been easier if you'd answered these questions.
It's interesting though, because you were looking for information. People are looking for information.
100%.
So if you can, every question that you get asked at any time of your sales process, which actually brings us on to another topic later, but if you have all of those answered online and they're really easy to identify, just think how much you can optimize your sales process. So now, if your sales process was 100%, answering all the questions, and now you can take not only 80, but 90, maybe 99% of those questions online for people to find, beforehand. I mean, just think of the efficiency savings from it.
So efficient.
It's really, and it's an ongoing process, but video can help you so much with it. Text is really important as well because of SEO optimization, but actually video is just such an easy medium for people to view, and the communication is so fantastic, and they meet you before they meet you, all those brilliant things.
They're endless.
I mean, this is why we're always talking about it. So I suppose this comes on to the last point that we were going to talk about with video and sales, is ongoing. So we've spoken about the 80% video. So we've spoken about all stages. So how do you bring audiences in? So how do you generate leads with video on your website? How do you qualify leads with video on your website? How do you optimize your sales process with that? And then finally, which is sort of the optimizer sales process as well. But even once they know you're the right person, they still have issues, fears, and concerns that need to be addressed. So this is almost the ongoing process. So Jenna, you obviously know they ask you answer really well because you do it with us, and this is where everything's based. When does they ask you answer stop?
Never.
Yeah. It never stops.
I mean, your business evolves.
Yeah.
So obviously the questions that people are asking evolve, but you'll always be surprised how many questions you can come up with. We have a bi-weekly meeting where we sit down and say, what questions have you heard from your clients or your onboarding clients? And the amount of answers we come up with, it just seems like endless. It seems like we're never going to run out of content to create.
Never. No, it's crazy. And the exciting thing for us, and actually for other clients we're working with in this program, is that you get to really understand who your customer is, because you're forever listening to what those questions are, because you're very eager then to turn them into videos, because that means your sales force become more effective and your whole team become more effective. So yeah. One thing we haven't touched on here actually is it's not all about the customer. So if we're going to it's not all about the team and the customer. So actually, if you're going to really optimize everything with video, what's the implication of training on your team? It's really good. But if you think, so if you've recorded everything in video, your team then have the best examples of all those answers just at the drop of a hat.
Yeah, it keeps them on a uniform setting as well. They're all speaking by the same handbook. You can really work hand in hand with Salesforce effectiveness there, sales team effectiveness, sorry. I think, it's fantastic.
Yeah, so we always talk about messaging, and Oscar, you always talk about messaging as well, about how important that is. Well, actually, if we have everything documented in video, which of course is to help your users move through their buyer's journey, but actually it also supercharges your sales team because they know exactly how to answer these questions perfectly. So, fantastic. So, we always talk about video. We love video. If somebody wanted to get into video tomorrow, how would they go about it? What's the first video or the first thing they should try, Oscar?
I'd recommend massive little shout out here to Vidyard.
Although there are other suppliers.
No, there aren't. I think it's a fantastic piece of software. It plugs straight into your browser. It records you, and you can screen share what you're looking at the same time. So you can make this really personal. You can be sent, if it's a customer specifically, I don't know, you could be looking at something that really relates to them, maybe their LinkedIn page or something that shows us the specific video for them, not just a generic video you've created. You can, delete, try the video as many times as you want. You can edit it. You can add, different little timestamps in there. And you can also, when you send that link out, it comes in a lovely little thumbnail. Your customer can see that it's a video to click. They right up front, that's more interesting than any text-based email. And you get notifications when they click it, when they watch it, at what point they clicked out. So, it's a learning, it's an iterative mechanism, makes you better at video yourself. So I think that's a fantastic tool, really simple, free to use.
No, it is fantastic. We use it all the time. Jenna, what would you say?
I think I would say that if you wanted to dive into the world of professional video, if you wanted to hire a team to come in and film you, that your 80% video is a great place to start because it covers so much, and just creating, the content for that, like coming up with what you're actually going to talk about, can really help you to understand your customer so much better. And I think it's just a great place to start because it covers so much. It doesn't have to be anything over the top. It's just talking to the camera, answering those questions. But it can have such a massive effect, like we said, qualifying leads, bringing in more leads, introducing yourself. I think, that's a great place to start if you want to go down a professional route.
I totally agree. I think the 80% video is the one that makes the biggest impact on sales after the one-to-one videos. I think those two are definitely the first things to start with. I mean, if you want to know about all the other types of videos, we have articles on our website that talk about all of those, because there's 7 types of videos that really move your business forward. Obviously, we've only spoken about a couple of them today. Well, thank you very much for both of you attending today's podcast.
Pleasure. Always a pleasure.
That's amazing. Fantastic. Great. Thank you very much for listening to today's Medical Device Marketing podcast. We hope you enjoyed everything. We hope you have a fantastic week and look forward to speaking to you next week. This episode of the Medical Device Marketing Podcast was brought to you by Podymos. If this conversation sparked any new ideas for you, or you want to transform your medical device marketing approach, then our door is always open. Visit www.podymos.com and explore a treasure trove of information about medical device marketing on our Learning Centre. Or, better yet, get in contact with us and speak to one of our expert marketers, as they're as passionate about medical device innovation as you are.